In this video, we're going to create Canvas quizzes. Hey guys, it's Lauren. Welcome back to my channel. I'm excited today to show you how to create quizzes in Canvas, but not just classic quizzes, which I do have a video series. You can go check that out if you want. I'm also going to show you today how to create new quizzes. New quizzes kind of has a bad reputation because it's new and they've had some problems, but I'm going to show you why you should try to use them in your class, and hopefully you'll like them by the end of this video. Now going to review how to create quizzes. Now there are two types of quizzes. There's classic and new quizzes. We of course are going to review both, but I'm going to start with classic since that's the only kind of quiz you can actually create within the free for teachers version. If you want to create a new quiz, you're going to have to go into your institution's full version of Canvas LMS. For right now, we are just going to go to our quiz shell template that I have here, and we're going to create a quiz. All I'm going to do is I'm going to start by clicking edit, and from here we're going to add our instructions. Actually, before I even add any instructions, I'm actually going to go back to home where my modules are, and we're going to get that blank page template, and I'm just going to copy this and paste it in like so, and now we're ready to add our content. The first kind of quiz that I usually do in my class is a pre-assessment or a formative pre-assessment quiz. So I'm just actually going to write pre-assessment right here, and then for the quiz template I'm just going to write assessment and add that in my title. Now for the important information, or really directions. A pre-assessment is usually something that students will take before they even are exposed to any of the new content within the lesson. So I have this template directions that I'm just going to paste in, and we'll go over them, and I'm just going to change the font. So it says, you're beginning the lesson. Before the learning of new content takes place, you'll evaluate your prior knowledge. You will also be introduced to the lesson objectives through multiple choice and matching questions. So these are the types of questions that I am going to include within my pre-assessment. So then down here, answer the questions as best as you can. And then I have this little note, choosing the correct answer is not important right now. Showing what you already know about the topic is most important. And then just some really easy steps. So you will complete the quiz independently, complete the quiz by selecting take the quiz, make sure you read and respond to the questions before answering. And then we get into the details of the classic quiz here. So yes, the quiz type is going to be graded. You can do a practice quiz, a graded survey, or an ungraded survey. I'm just leaving it as a graded quiz. Then you have the option for your assignment groups. So we did create a summative and formative one, so I'm going to select the formative assignment group, and then we will leave the shuffle answers on. So that means like the questions will stay in order, but the answers will shuffle. I don't need a time limit. And then I'm going to, let's just do, I usually allow, well for this one it's a pre-assessment, so we won't actually allow any multiple attempts. If you do select it, you can do highest, most recent, average, and that's the score that's going to be kept. I usually take the highest and then allow, usually I will allow like 3 attempts, but for this one we will just uncheck it for now. Okay, and then you have options here on how the students will see their quiz responses, and then you have this section that gives permission for students to see their quiz responses. I usually leave it at just this checked box and uncheck this one, because then students can see which ones they got wrong, but they can't see the answer to the question. If you want them to see the answers to the question, you can check this, and then it also allows you for a period of time. You only want them to see the correct answers for a day, you have that option, and then hiding them later on. And then you can select only once after each attempt, so meaning they took it in class and then they reviewed their answers right after, then later on when they go back to the quiz they won't be able to see it. So I usually just leave it at this, and then you can show one question at a time, and you do have the option to restrict the quiz by requiring an access code and just create a password. I got really fancy with my passwords. My students would always come in trying to guess what the password of the day was when we had a quiz day. You can make it fun if you want. And then manage the due dates. So then again, this is like a new feature. So you can assign the quiz to everyone. You can assign it to a specific section. You can assign it to individual students. And then when you are done with the instructions, you can click save, and we'll just take a quick look at this. So here is our basic quiz template. And then down here, it tells you what type it is, how many points there are, assignment group, all these different things. But there's no questions here. So if I were to click preview right now, there's nothing. I would be submitting nothing. Let's go add some questions. So we were on the details tab before. Now we're going to go to the questions tab. Now from here, you can add new questions and build the questions within the quiz, but actually that's kind of the wrong way to do it because then it's harder to organize your questions. It's actually better to find questions within question bank. So we're going to actually go off of where we've been working mostly. We're going to go all the way over instead now to quizzes, and we're going to select the three dots and click on manage question banks. We're going to create groups of questions that can be pulled in to a quiz. It makes it easier for you, the teacher, moving forward. So let's add a question bank. We're just going to call this one test question bank. We will enter the question bank by clicking on it, and we can start to add questions. You can also move them, you can delete the bank, and then you can align them to outcomes, but that is more advanced. So we're just going to stick to questions for now. Let's just go over them real quick. You have multiple choice, true or false, fill in the blank, fill in multiple blanks, multiple answers, multiple drop downs, matching, numerical answer, formula question, essay question, file upload question, and then text. There's no question. Right here, you have the body of your question. So this is where all the information is going to go. And then down here, we have the answer. And I can actually, let's say those are the only two possible answers. I can delete answers, and then I can go, actually, the correct answer is this one. And that's just the possible answer. It's up to you on how you decide to place answers and things like that. But then you would click update and you have your first question. I can keep adding questions, and then again we have the body of the question, and we can either choose true or false and update it. So then I can show you how the question is going to look by clicking on show question details, and we just keep adding questions over and over. So I'm not going to fully show you all the question types because I already have 3 videos on all the question types, so feel free to go check that out separately. We are going to go over new quizzes, but this is how I build the questions, and then I actually return to the quiz here, and then I am going to edit this quiz, go to questions, and now find the questions. You have all of these different quiz banks from whichever courses you're involved with, and so we're going to find the test question bank. I'm going to select all of my questions and then add them like so. The other thing you can do is add a question group. So we'll link it to a question bank, and let's do, for example, our test question bank. Select the bank, and then it's only out of these 2 questions that I have, I'm only going to pick one of those questions, and then it's going to award that many points per question. This is really great for summative quizzes where you are pulling from multiple banks, because then you start to create quizzes that look different for every student because it just is pulling them at random every time for each independent student that's taking the quiz. We'll create this group for now, and then we'll preview this, and here it is. We have our questions, so I'm just answering them. And then down here, this was randomly pulled from that bank. And there you go, we have our first quiz. Now let me show you kind of a better example. Here is a pre-assessment quiz that I have. We are going to preview it just so you guys have a better idea of what this looks like. It's the exact same instructions. I just pulled it from this one actually. And so here we go. We have an essay question. So I'm just gonna start typing my answers in, and then down here we have some images and we're supposed to fill in the blank with our answers. So I created my own little version of true or false. So I'm just gonna write TF, I'm just doing it randomly, and then read through the targets and rate yourself from 0 to 10, evaluating your knowledge. 2, 4, I'm just putting in random numbers now, submit the quiz. So that gives you a good idea of what a quiz looks like. I scored for this quiz a 3 out of 5. My answer here is not yet graded, but I got a 2 out of 2 for trying here, and it tells me the correct answers. And then for this one down here, I got 100%, 1 out of 1, because it's just a survey question essentially. That's just an example of how you can create a classic quiz. So I've returned to our quiz here, and you'll notice if I go back to the home page and I'm in my teacher template and I go, okay, I want to create a pre-assessment quiz. This is the template. I'm gonna come over here and click, oh no, there's no duplicate. So I'm actually gonna show you how you can create quiz copies. Easiest way to do so is to just come back up here and go to quizzes, and now let's do create a quiz, and we'll do quiz template post assessment, add it, it's down here. And now what I'm going to do is go to the click edit, and then I am actually going to copy the code, go next, click edit, go to the HTML editor, paste this in, and now I already have my template here. I just have to add in the questions from a question bank. So now I'm just going to change this up. We're going to do post assessment. We are not beginning the lesson this time. Finished the lesson activities. Woohoo! We need to change these instructions and paste this in. So it says, you have now finished the lesson activities. You will get to view your growth and progress over the course of the lesson and review the objectives and learning targets. Answer questions as best as you can. Your goal is to demonstrate knowledge growth, showing what you have learned about the topic. Add all of my different options again, uncheck some boxes. Of course, before I click save, I can add my questions, save. So I just created a post-assessment template. It's got my questions, it has 2 points now, and it's ready to go. This is my post-assessment example in another course that I've developed, and you'll notice one thing. So same instructions as my template here. It has the exact same questions as the pre-assessment. I make my pre and post-assessment questions the same, but then I add one additional question. If we actually go to this bank, so let's go to quizzes and come over. I have, a describing motion bank, a Newton's first law, so kind of based off of standards, but then I also have these template question banks. So I have just, the essay question one, and then the knowledge nuggets, and then these statements. And then I pull these into a new quiz and edit them in there. I go to questions, I find the questions, and I have, there we go, essential question, knowledge nugget. These are the questions that I want to add. And then you'll see here are my templates that I can now, with this quiz, I can start editing them right here, and it's not going to affect the question bank. The question bank is going to stay the same. These are going to be changed because I pulled them in. All right, so the last one that I'm going to do is another classic quiz, lesson quiz. We scroll down here and edit this and paste in my instructions that I had from before, and we're going to do lesson quiz. I'm just going to write assessment time. Changing up these instructions for this specific quiz. Take the quiz to assess your knowledge of the content presented in the lesson. Answer the questions as best as you can. So here, your goal is to demonstrate what you have learned by answering questions that review the learning objectives of the module. Honestly, these are really the only 3 type of quizzes that I have used in the past. So that's essentially everything with the template and creating classic quizzes. We're gonna now take a look at new quizzes that are in a institution's account, a full Canvas version. So if you're a free for teacher user, this does not sadly apply to you. We have moved to my Canvas Queen instance Canvas account, and I have created just a little mini teacher template module. There's nothing currently in it, but we are going to add a new quiz. So we click on quizzes, and then down here, you have the option of new quizzes or classic quizzes. So we're going to leave it as new quizzes, and we're going to type in quiz template, new quizzes, and then we can put it, we only have one assignment group in this course currently, so we'll just leave it as so, and we will add the item into our module. New quizzes, they are a little bit different. And a lot of people have a bad taste in their mouth from the new quizzes because there's been some issues in the past rolling out this new question quizzes type. Here you start with points, you have your assignment groups, you can create a group right here again, very similar to classic quizzes. You have the option to display, letter grades, points. I always leave it at points, and submission type. This will not change because this is how new quizzes is established. It is using an external tool. It is using what we call an LTI. So what I actually like to do is I like to open a new tab and copy this link and paste it into a new tab because I do not know what the point value is yet because I haven't built this quiz yet. So I go over here and I am going to build this. And this is really honestly, it's just so I have a shortcut. I could always come back to this. It's not gonna go away or anything. I just like having it there. So now this is the new interface to build quizzes. We have instead now the instructions go within the quiz. So we can actually just go back to our quiz here, edit this. I'm actually just gonna copy and we can paste in right here our instructions and then click done. Now we start building down. You're gonna click on this little plus button and start to build down. Now you do have, instead of like quiz banks, they're now called item banks. And you can create a bank and add questions. Test bank. This is how you're able to share your questions a little bit easier with other teachers. So when you create a bank, you have the option to duplicate the bank. You have the option to share it with another teacher, to edit it, or to trash it. So we're gonna leave that there and we will start to add questions. So let's create a question. So now you have all of these different types of questions that Classic just does not offer. You have categorization. So down here, do a test question. So we still have the rich content editor, which is nice within every question. And then you have category descriptions. So I've just created my two categories right now, colors and shapes. And so then we'll type in like blue, and then we'll add another answer, red, circle, square. And then of course, if we wanted to, we could add more categories. We can also add distractors and all of that, but we're gonna leave it like this and it's gonna be 1 point. Done. We'll click save. And now what I can do, I can click here and add this question to a bank. And so I can add it to my test bank, add, and then done. And now I have my question. So this is what a categorized question looks like. We will go over the next kind of question, which is very simple, file upload. And so right here we can add, file and upload instructions. You have some options here. So you can do like a calculator, basic calculators. That's kind of another nice thing too for math with new quizzes is really good. You can limit the file number. So maybe they can only submit like 3 files a maximum. And then you can do the file type. So maybe it's a PDF or a doc. I'm just going to leave that one unchecked. And then again, we can add it to our bank, our test bank, add, and then it's done. So the next kind of question we're going to go over and create is a formula question. You can enter your question, build formula, and it's going to generate possible answers. So what we're going to do is we're just going to do the example here, which is what is 5 plus x. Now, in order for variables to generate, we have to use these backticks around the variable. So I'm going to place them around the x. x. So now right here, let's say the minimum number is 0 and the maximum number is 10, and we are not going to have any decimals in this question. So next, write the formula. So it would be 5 plus x, and then number of solutions, margin type. We're just going to click generate. So now we have 11 solutions here, and then we're going to click done. And so now you'll see for each student, it can generate what is 5 plus 7, and we have our answer. And so the x will change based on the student, which is really cool. I didn't add it to my question bank, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually add it to the existing bank, and there you go. Let's move on to the next question, which is matching. Classic quizzes also has matching. I do like the matching in new quizzes a lot. Questions in here, and then we'll do, I don't know, just for quick, I'm just going to do A to A, B to B. We'll just leave it at that for now so we can get a good idea when I go to student view. Add to bank. There we go. Done. So one thing that I forgot to do is I want to make sure that if they, so let's make it worth 2 points, and if they miss one, they get partial credit, or maybe they have to have the exact matches, but I'm gonna leave it like that for now, so they get partial credit. Now let's go to multiple choice, which is easy enough. So you would write your answer or your question here, and then you would have, you know, answer 1, answer 2, and what's really nice about these answers for multiple choice, you can even add like pictures in here to be an answer. Now you have a rich content editor essentially for every single one, versus classic. You can do that, but it's not as easy to use. So then again, we'll just come down here, add it to the bank. We're done. And then we're moving on to the next question. Ordering. This one, you're going to place it in a specific order. So numbers in order. Let's do 3, 22, 67, 1,000. I'm going to add this to my question bank. Done. Okay, the next type of question is essay, which is simple. You have the prompt or question they are responding to here, and then they are going to respond in a rich content editor. What's nice is you can set the word limit. So let's say maybe 100 words minimum and 150 words maximum. Show the word count, and then you can add a spell check also if needed. Then we're going to add this to the bank. Done. Saves it for us. And then what's cool is it actually shows you right here what's the max and min. Next question is fill in the blank, which is pretty simple. Type a statement, and then you're going to put the back ticks again. We'll just do the example. What's really nice about new quizzes is the fact that you have so many options. So we can do open entry, which means essentially they're just typing it in. You can do drop down or word bank. Now, the text you can do must contain red is close enough, is an exact match, or specifically correct answers, regular expression match. So we can do red, we can add those kind of things in, or close enough, we'll write contains red. Or if we want, we can do a drop down menu, and then we can do green and blue and all of that. So we'll just we'll leave it at this so you guys can see once we get the student view going what this looks like. And then we're going to add it to the bank and done. Next question is Hotpot, which is not in classic quizzes. So what we're going to do is so I just dragged and dropped this United States image and draw the hotspot shape. Alaska. Right here, I'm going to ask is find the state Alaska. There you go. Add this to the bank now, to the test bank, and this question is done. We can do multiple answer. This one, so this is basically, you have your question up here and then your answer 1, and I'll just do correct. Answer 2, and we'll make this one correct. And then we'll do shuffle choices, add it to the bank. Woohoo! So that next we have numeric. So let's just do what is 2 plus 2 equal question mark. Okay, so now we need exact response, which is 4. Easy enough. And then we will add it to our item bank and we're done with question 11. Next question we are going to add, which is true or false. So we have our question and then we just basically get to choose true or false. And then from there we'll add that to our bank. There you go. And those are all the question types. Now you may be going, but Lauren, there was this stimulus question. This stimulus question is pretty cool. What it does is it creates a dual screen. So you have a split screen display. So we have our question, we'll just write question. This is question 13 through 15. And then our instructions, maybe it's a reading, and then the reading example would go in here. So now we're going to click done on that side, and then we get to attach questions on the right side, and it's any of the questions that we had above. Okay. So I have the main reading example on the left, and then I can scroll down without having to move, let's say the reading right here. I can scroll up and down and answer these questions on the right side. Now, the other thing that I can do is I can edit this. So if I don't like it split screen like this, we can actually move the questions below like so, and then all of the questions will go underneath it and attach this reading section question. So let's move it back. Question, we'll do done because I think this looks better personally. So we need to add every single independent one to the bank. And then we're done. So those are all the questions that we have. We have 16 points. So I'm actually just going to go back here and type in 16 points and click save. And then on this side here, we're going to go to settings. We're going to shuffle the questions. We're going to shuffle the answers. We're not going to do one question at a time. We're not going to require an access code. So if we click this though, it's the same kind of thing as a password. There can be a time limit. Then we have the filter IP addresses again. We can allow a calculator. We can do either a basic or a scientific calculator. Allow multiple attempts. Basically, it's a newer version of Classic. It's just everything is in a different spot. Then restrict student result. We want to show points awarded overall and per question. So we'll show, so we won't get anything on these tabs until there's something submitted. But what we're going to do now, we're done and it is saved. We are going to preview this whole quiz. And so you'll see here, I'm going to put B, A for this question. We'll just put my little picture in here as the file. Order these in the correct order. We're going to answer the question. Find the state Alaska. Answer the question. What is 2 plus 2? 4. True. Colors. Blue. Red. Square. Circle. I am just going to write gibberish. I need 100 words minimum. Got 8 words so far. Okay. There you go. I've reached the minimum. Let's see. I'm gonna do the multiple answers here. Roses are red, violets are blue. So you see the difference here now is the drop down and then just the regular typing for fill in the blank. And here's our stimulus question. So we have, just pretend there's like reading right here. And then again, we're gonna just type in random stuff, reading question 1, and then submit. There we go. We're submitting the quiz. Auto grade, we got a 13 out of 16 points, and that is mostly due to the fact that 3 questions require a grade. Manually, the teacher would then have to go in and grade it. So let's exit the preview, and what we'll do, we'll return to the quiz, and here's essentially what it looks like from a student's point of view. They will get to start it, and then it's just pretty much identical to the preview once loaded. Okay, so I just took the quiz again and you can see I scored lowered. And so now what we can do is we can leave the student view and we are gonna actually we will return, go to grades, and now we have something pending. speed grader. And so now I can look at the quiz within the speed grader and I can actually click on each question. What's really cool is I can add comments. As a teacher, I can regrade this one and give them like either partial points or partial credit. I can also, so this answer is correct, I can award like bonus points if I want to. You can just check it off and it gives them a grade, which is really awesome. And then down here again, like, ooh, I'm read it, it's great, it awards them a point. And then for fudge points down here, you can add up and then update it, and then it loads directly in the speed grader. So as you can see, they got some bonus points there. So that is essentially the basics of both classic and new quizzes. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope this video was helpful and you found it informative. If you have any questions about classic or new quizzes, feel free to leave me a comment below. I am very much looking forward to the next video where we go over Canvas home pages, so you won't want to miss that one. All right, guys, I'll see you later. Bye.